Speaking of that, let me turn off my phone.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Off the ringers.
And if you haven't, oh, great. Thank you. Someone's turning off the ringer. Yes. If you haven't already, go ahead and turn off the ringer on your phone. I think most of you have left your phones out in the other room. Great. Let's start off on our backs, on the mat. Get comfortable. Let your body just sort of melt into the earth. Yeah. Just try and wash away all these maybe small or large annoyances that have come about during your day. Here we are practicing in the evening, so many of you have had a full day. Try and just wash that away as you rest here on your mat. I am going out of town on a holiday soon, and I'm looking forward to it, but I always face going on a vacation or a holiday with this anxiety. And it's not, trying to pack or wondering what to pack. It's really, I've got so much to do. How can I go and leave town? Or what if someone needs me or needs something and I just feel like I can't leave? And so that makes me think of a book I'm reading now, The Yamas and Niyamas. It talks about detachment and sort of pulling ourselves away from these things that we think we need or that we are attached to, in order so we can open ourselves up and allow ourselves more experiences, different experiences. And so you have to let go sometimes, and I'm going to try and do just that. I know it'll be a wonderful vacation. I just need to practice detachment. So while you're here on your mat, I want you to try and detach from all the things that's going on in your life right now. Try and detach from it for the next, what do we have left? The next 53 minutes. And try to be present here in this moment. So take some deep breaths. Maybe your arms are by your side. Maybe you move one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest, if you like that position, and just feel your breath, the rising of the abdomen, the rising and lowering of the abdomen. The book I'm reading talks about detachment in terms of the breath, and it says something about we could detach the way we exhale, like just letting it all go so we can take in the next full, fresh inhale. So we'll try and keep the breath in mind as we practice today. As we move throughout our poses and postures, I will cue the breath, but there's no right or wrong way or when to breathe. But as we move, I will cue it, sort of these inhales and exhales, or maybe I'll mention take a big breath as we go along, but you don't want to hold your breath, so just keep breathing. At any time in our practice, you can come back to a child's pose, rest, get recentered. That is perfectly fine. Here I do have a couple people practicing chair yoga or practicing both, and I will cue that as we move along, what posture and pose you might take sitting down. So you'll hear me do some of that as well. Take another big breath in and let it out the mouth. Let's do one more big breath in And sigh out the mouth. Good, 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 good. Let's bring both knees into the chest and just start to roll side to side, massaging the spine. You can roll back and forth or in circles if you want. Whatever feels good. Now, pull the right knee in and let the left leg go long and find the mat. So left leg is resting on the mat. Right knee is pulled in. A gentle pull. Maybe move the leg around in the hip socket in one direction to the other direction. Go ahead and flex that right foot. Try to have the rest of the body still as possible. Trying to really lubricate that hip socket. So moving the hip socket around. Trying to keep the hips stable. Go ahead and find a neutral position. Pull left knee in, so you're hugging both legs. Maybe rock side to side again. Keep the left knee pulled in, holding on around the calf or the knee. Let the right leg go long. Flex the left foot and do the same thing again. Move that left leg around in the hip socket, maybe making some circles to the right. And make circles to the left. On your next inhale, pull the right knee in. And again, rock from side to side. Let both legs go long on the mat. If you have the space, put your arms out to a T. We're still resting on our backs. Feel free to close the eyes. Pull knees into the chest again. You'll have to use your core. So knees are bent, pulled into the chest, and let knees drop to the right, giving us a nice twist in the left side of the body. In this pose, you will be leaning on the right side. Arms are still to a T. And take your gaze to the left. And so you're moving in both directions. Knees are to the right, gaze to the left. And you should feel a nice stretch on the left side of the body. Maybe you pick up the left leg and maybe move it around a little bit. Maybe you stagger them instead of having the knees on top. Maybe the top leg is staggered, giving you a deeper stretch. Or stay where you are. You just want to feel a nice stretch, but you don't want it to be painful. Sometimes in yoga we talk about reaching our edge. We don't need to go past that. Next breath, knees come back into the chest and drop them over to the left. Sometimes you'll feel, when I do this pose, especially to the left, I feel lots of creaking going on in the body, and that's fine. Again, go to your edge, not past that. Your knees are going to the left. Gaze is now to the right. Maybe move that right leg up and down. Maybe stagger them. Or you can have knee stacked on knee, hip stacked on hip. Looking to the right. Good. Don't forget to breathe. Inhales and exhales here.
Try to let go any tension you feel in the jaw. Try and breathe through what might be a little discomfort. And on the next inhale, knees, legs are back into the chest. Wrap the arms around them. And again, side to side rock. Massage the spine. Maybe move in circles to the right. And then to the left. Legs can go long. And let's take a couple breaths. Let's rise to hands and knees.
Here in hands and knees, shoulders are above the wrists. You take elbows about hips width apart. The toes can be tucked or tops of feet can be flat on the ground. And here, just find some movement. Maybe move the hips from side to side. You can move the head, yes, no. If you're ready and you have the space, you can move the hips back and forth. Go around in a circle. Just take any posture, poses that feel good right now as we get started in our practice. Good. And then we can all come back to a neutral table. And let's take some cat-cow. Here we inhale, look up and drop the belly for cow. Exhale, round the back for cat. Inhale, drop the belly, gazes up for cow. Round the back for cat. Go ahead and move back and forth like this, rounding and arching at the tempo of your own breath. Inhaling to look up for cow. Exhale to cat. You can still play around with movement. Your body still needs to work some of those kinks out. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. Good. Okay. We're back in neutral table. Let's go ahead. On an inhale, let the right arm go up from the right side. Look up. And then we'll take the right arm through behind the left and thread the needle. So right arm lands, shoulder lands, head is on the ground looking to the left. You can leave the left hand planted. You can take left hand behind the back for a bind. But we call this position thread the needle. Take a couple breaths here. If you have the bind, left hand again finds the earth. And come out slowly, floating right arm up to the ceiling again. Look up and exhale, and hand joins the left. Take a breath here. On an inhale, left arm reaches up to the sky.
Then comes back in behind the right, threading the needle. Land that arm on the mat. Head comes down looking to the right. You can keep the right hand in position or behind the back for a bind. Couple breaths here. If you have the bind, untangle that right arm, let it meet the earth, and now left hand floats back up to the sky and down to the earth. And maybe take some movement here. Nice. Let's do a spinal balance before we move to any standing poses. Reach your left leg out behind you, flex the foot. Leg is straight behind you, thigh, hip in line with the glute. Find your balance here. Right foot is pressing into the mat, into the earth, providing some stability. And when you feel safe, maybe you lift the right arm out front. This is a spinal balance on opposite sides. Left hand is taking much of the weight. Your gaze is down, spine, neck, head in line. Take a breath, let it out. Take another breath, and let's go ahead and do a crunch. Elbow and knee meet. Right elbow, left knee. Take another breath. Stretch it back out. If you fall out of it, it's fine to get in, get back in. And let's take two more at the tempo of your own breath. Inhale. Exhale back out. Inhale, knee and elbow back in. And exhale back out. Hold and release to the earth. And let's find some movement here in our table pose. And now for the other side. Right leg goes out long behind you. Flex the foot. Thigh, hip, glutes are in line. Right foot is flexed. Right arm and hand start to take some of the weight. And maybe we lift left arm. So coming across the midline here with our spinal balance. Take a couple breaths here. And on an inhale, let's take the crunch. Exhale it back out. Foot again is flexed. Hand is reaching. Our fingers are spread. Another inhale for the crunch. Exhale back out. One more. Inhale in. Exhale back out. Hand, knee, find the earth. And we move it around a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a child's pose. Do you want to move here? Because there's some space if you'd like to move. Sometimes it does help to put something under the knee in these poses. So push the hips back. Knees are spread. Arms can be forward or by your side. Forehead is on the earth. And we can just breathe here. Again, you can always come back to child's pose to refocus on the breath and recenter. next couple breaths, let's all find a downward dog. In this first downward dog, maybe you start to pedal out the feet, providing a little stretch in the calves. Hands sort of gripping the earth, fingertips into the mat. Fingers are spread. And heels don't need to touch the earth, they're reaching down towards the earth. The neck is heavy. You don't want to have any tension in the jaw. Try to soften those creases that we sometimes carry in our forehead. Go ahead and gaze up between the space in the hands. Rise to the balls of the feet and walk to the front of your mat. And hang in a forward fold. Maybe we move side to side here. You can also take the bind. Hands can grab opposite elbows. Head hangs heavy. And just breathe in this ragdoll pose. If you have the bind at the elbows, go ahead and drop the hands. And on an inhale, halfway lift to flat back. Exhale, fall forward. And on an inhale, roll all the way to standing. Arms reach high up overhead. Arms are long and fingers are reaching to the sky. Inhale. On an exhale, fall forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And on an inhale, float the arms back up overhead and hands come to prayer. And breathe. Inhale the arms back up overhead. And this time, right hand grabs left wrist. And take a side bend to the right. Inhale, arms up. This time, left hand grabs right wrist. And exhale to the left, feeling a nice deep stretch on the right side. Inhale brings you back to center. Arms are reaching up to the sky. Maybe we do a back bend here, and swan dive all the way back down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Next inhale brings you all the way back up. Hands reaching overhead. And then hands to palm center to prayer. Take a couple breaths here. Inhale, hands are back overhead. And we'll take those side bends again. Right hand, grab left wrist, and maybe you move left leg out a little bit, create some space. Take a side bend to the right, gentle tug on the wrist will give you a bit of a deeper stretch. Breathe into the stretch. Inhale, arms back overhead, reaching tall. Leg comes back in. This time left hand grabs right wrist. Maybe right leg moves to the right a bit. And take the side bend over to the left. And you want to have your heart forward. So we don't want to bend too much in the side bend. We really want to get the stretch. And so the chest, the torso is facing forward. You should feel that stretch all the way up to the shoulder. Take another breath. And come back to center. Leg comes in. Arms are reaching high overhead. Hands are active. Inhale for a back bend. Exhale, fall forward, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And let's find the belly. So everyone on the mat. Maybe here, just use your hands, fold your arms in front, make a little pillow for your head, maybe gaze off to the left side. Let's take 3 breaths here. Let the hands find either side of the rib cage. Elbows are bent. Pull them into the body, don't let them swing out. So elbows pulled into the body. And we'll peel the chest up for a baby cobra. So just peel forward, look forward, but don't have too much of a bend in your neck, exposing the throat. Eyes are just gazing forward off the mat. Breathe here. And exhale back down. Maybe you look off to the right now, making a pillow for your head. Take a couple breaths here. And once again, hands meet the sides of the rib cage, elbows are bent, pulled into the chest. And we'll do another baby cobra. Peeling the front side, chest up, forward. Whenever you're ready, take a couple breaths. And chest, hands, head, meet the earth once again. And you can look in any direction here. Take a couple breaths here on our mat, and we'll meet again in downward dog. You can go to table first before going to downward dog. Maybe you go to plank, or maybe you just step back into downward dog. But we'll meet there in a couple breaths if you are ready. Okay, downward dog. Heels are pressing towards the earth. The hands are spread, fingers spread. Neck is heavy. You don't want to hold the neck, just let it hang here in our downward dog. Take a couple breaths. On an inhale, right leg reaches up and back. Bend the right knee. Just as we did on the back, go ahead and move the right hip, right leg in one direction, then the next direction. Put the leg on straight and bring right foot to meet right hand in a low lunge position. You're on the toes of the left foot, ball of the left foot, low runner's lunge, and then let the right arm find the sky, and you're in a twisted lunge position. And just breathe here. Good. That's right. Right arm
and right shoulder in line. Maybe, left arm and left shoulder. Maybe you're on those left fingertips, that's fine, or you can be on the entire hand on the left. But try not to put all of your weight on your right thigh. You want a little lift in this position. Right arm is reaching. You are gaze. You're looking to the right. Maybe you're looking up. Take a couple more breaths. And let the right hand find the earth. Let's go to plank. And here in plank. Shoulders and wrists in line. You're on the toes. And let's lower down slowly. Find the mat. Come back to downward dog, either through table or plank. And we'll take that lunge on the left side. Left leg goes up. Bend the left knee. Moving around. Maybe to the right, to the left. Put the leg back on straight. And bring left foot through. Maybe you have to help it get to the left hand. That's fine. Help it get to where it needs to go. And here you are in low lunge. Take a couple breaths here in your low lunge position. Right wrist and shoulder are in line. Again, maybe you're on the fingertips on the right side. Take a breath and left arm goes up to the sky. And here you are in twisted lunge. Couple breaths here. Good. Gaze is to the hands, or gaze can be to the floor, to the ground. Another breath. Left hand finds the earth. Left foot joins right foot. And here you can take a chaturanga. You can go all the way to the belly. You can go halfway down and take your vinyasa. It is yogi's choice. Or you can go right back to downward dog. And we'll meet there in a couple breaths. Nice choices. And let's take 4 breaths here in downward dog. Big inhale. And exhale it out the mouth. Good. From downward dog, right leg goes up and right leg comes through, right foot meets right hand. And here we're all the way up in high lunge. So right knee is forward, tracking over right toes. The left foot, you're on the ball of the left foot. It's strong, helping your stability. Arms are straight. The hands are reaching up to the sky. Fingers are wide. Maybe here you do just a little back bend, or you stay up straight. Take another breath. Being careful not to overextend right knee in this pose. If you look down, you should still be able to see right toes. Maybe you close your eyes in this pose and test your balance. Take another inhale and exhale. Hands find the earth. Move back to plank. Chaturanga, take a vinyasa, and come back to downward dog. Left leg goes up. Bring left leg through. Left foot meets left hand, and rise to high lunge. And take some breaths here. That left thigh is parallel to the earth. The right foot is strong. You're on the balls of the right foot. Arms are long. Gaze can be to the front. Gaze can be up. Maybe you close the eyes. Take another big breath. And let the hands find the earth. Come to plank. And take a vinyasa. Take a couple breaths here in downward dog. Okay, on an inhale, rise to the toes. On an exhale, step, hop, or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Next inhale, arms reach all the way overhead and hands come to prayer. Here in prayer, we'll take a chair pose. So maybe you widen the feet, or you can have big toes touching, little space between the heels. Either way, if you have sometimes pain in the knees, it may be easier to have the feet wide. But come to your chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands are still in prayer. And here in chair, try to wiggle the feet, lift the feet, or I should say the toes. Lift the toes off the mat. And we just want to make sure we have that weight in the heels, so we should be able to lift the toes. Try to sit a little deeper in your pose. Tuck the tailbone in, look forward. And on an inhale, twist to the right. Hook left elbow over right thigh. And gaze over right shoulder. And breathe. Inhale brings you back to center. Arms go up in Utkatasana for breath. Exhale back to prayer. Inhale to the left. Right elbow finds left thigh. Hooks over, gazes over left shoulder. And take a couple breaths. Inhale brings you back to center. Arms are overhead, still in chair. Inhale to standing. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And take a vinyasa. On the plank, lowering all the way down or halfway. Cobra or upward dog. Back to downward dog. And we're going to add on and build this flow of a build a little bit. Rise to the toes, look forward. Hop, step, or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, arms overhead. And sit into Utkatasana. Arms still overhead. Tailbone is tucked. Maybe here, swing the arms back, almost like an airplane pose, and have the palms facing down. Heart is open, looking forward. And see if you can sit just a little bit deeper here. Try to wiggle the toes, carrying some weight in the heels. And on an inhale, let the arms move forward and overhead in our regular chair pose. Take an inhale, exhale the arms to prayer, and twist to the right. Left elbow finding right thigh. Inhale back to center, arms are overhead. Inhale, then exhale to left. Right elbow finds left thigh. Gaze is over left shoulder. Inhale back to center, to standing. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, arms all the way back to standing. Hands come to prayer. And from the front of your mat, lift your left leg. Place left leg behind you on the mat. Come to the ball of the foot. Coming to that lunge pose. Hands are still in prayer. And once you feel steady, hands go overhead. Here we are in high lunge. Right knee over the second and third toe. We're on the ball of the left foot. Feeling strong. Arms are overhead. Once you feel steady, let's bring the hands to prayer in our high lunge position. Keep right knee tracking over the toes. Left leg is strong. And take an inhale, then exhale to a twisted high lunge. This time, left elbow finds right thigh. And if you have the space, go ahead and glance over right shoulder, looking maybe at right elbow. Or maybe you look at the right foot. But try and take a couple breaths here in this pose. Inhale back to high lunge. Left foot goes flat at a 90-degree angle. And let the arms come to a T for warrior two. Arms are strong, hands are facing down, elbows. We still have a bend in the right leg. And now for side angle. Go ahead, bend arm over that right thigh, and left arm reaches up long. Torso twist to look at left hand. And take a couple breaths here in right angle, side angle. Inhale back to warrior two. And windmilled arms back down. Come to plank. Let's go all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes. Arms, elbows bend in. And let's all together take a baby cobra. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll all meet back in downward dog. Nice job. We'll meet in downward dog for the left side. Once in downward dog, go ahead and take a couple breaths here. Everyone's doing great. On an inhale, left leg goes up and left knee leg comes in so left foot can find left hand. Right toes, you're on the ball of the right foot, and rise to high lunge. Arms go overhead. Right leg now is providing the stability. Left knee is forward, left leg is forward. When you feel stable, hands come to prayer. Take an inhale and exhale to side lunge. Right elbow finds left thigh. Good. Gaze is over your left shoulder. Try not to strain the neck, but you want to turn from the waist in this pose. Inhale, back to high lunge. Exhale to warrior two. So the right leg now is at a 90-degree angle. The side of the edge of the foot.
is parallel or about parallel to the short end of your mat. Tailbones tucked in, arms are to a T. Take an inhale and exhale to side angle. Right arm reaches up. Gaze can look up at the hand or down at left foot. Arm is resting on the thigh. Take a couple breaths here. On your next inhale, rise back to warrior two. And cartwheel, hands down to the mat. Both legs go long behind you. And stay in high plank. Let's take a couple breaths here in high plank. The shoulders are over the wrist. Hands are spread, fingers are active. The whole body is like a long plank. You're holding in the core, not holding the breath, but holding in your core. And here, this time, let's go slowly down to our mat, all the way to the belly. Arms are tucked in close to the body. And let's everyone find a child's pose. You've got about 5 breaths in child's pose. And we've got one more flow to do before we come to our mat. Go ahead and take a drink of water. It's a good time for that. Take a drink of water. Take any other movement you might need. You can move around in your child's pose. You can come up to table, get some movement in table. And in the next couple breaths, we will all meet back in downward dog. You guys have been following along. You didn't even need those chairs. So maybe next time we'll do some chair yoga, but you guys are doing great. Okay, from downward dog, let's pedal the feet a little bit. Catch the breath. Go ahead, rise to the toes and hop, step, or float the feet to the front of the mat. Hang here in a forward fold. Let's just sway from side to side. Coming to a neutral forward fold. Let's inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And let's inhale, rolling all the way back up. Arms are long overhead, reaching for the sky. And let hands come back to prayer. So here, we're going to do a couple balance and standing poses. So get light in the right foot. Weight is in the left foot. And we're going to cross the right leg over the left, making a figure 4. So the right ankle is a little bit above the left knee. You want to arch the foot here. Hands come to prayer. And let's start to sit in this position, making our figure 4. If it's comfortable for you, your hands can touch the ground. If you fall out of it, just come back in it. That's what these balancing poses are for. We stay in our figure 4. Start to come out of it, but keep the knee raised, and we're here in majorette. So right knee is lifted, the foot is flexed. Maybe hands go up overhead. And make sure that the leg and the hip are doing some work here to keep that knee suspended. Maybe Hands come to the waist. And we're gonna have the right leg reach back as we start to fall forward to find an airplane pose. Right leg is long behind you. Flex the right foot. Hands can stay at the waist. Maybe hands come out to the side like an airplane. When you're ready, maybe they go forward. Your gaze is to the ground, a little bit in front of your mat. The glutes are working to keep that leg up. Flexing the foot. Take a couple breaths here and start to come back up. Going back, and don't let the leg touch the ground if you can. If not, that's fine. Find majorette again. And let the leg relax back down to the earth. And let's shake that out. Rinse that away. Just move around, rinse that back out. We're going to do the left side. Getting heavy on the right side. Start to lift the left leg, and we'll do that figure 4 on the left side. So left ankle finds right knee, and you're going to feel a stretch on the left side. So we've been doing some hip openers today, so if you've got tight hips, I hope this is sort of doing a little lengthening and stretching, but again, shouldn't be painful. So we're in our figure 4. Hands can come to prayer and start to sit down. Good. Nice work. In our figure 4. And again, if you want arms long in front of you, that's fine too. So in this pose, maybe your leg is a little more across the knee, past the elbow and past the ankle. And so the left knee is pressing out. And maybe you can put your hand on it and feel, press that out. Here, let's come back out of our figure 4, coming into majorette. So the left knee is bent, left leg is flexed, and a lot of times that flexing of the foot helps with the balance. Make sure you are gazing at something that's not moving. Maybe hands come to your hips or above, and we're going to slowly move into airplane pose. So leg goes long behind you. And sometimes the sides can feel different. And this side, my right leg feels a lot more tired than the other leg. Here, hands can stay on the waist, go long, out in front of you or to the side. Left foot is flexed. Take a couple more breaths here in airplane. Come back to majorette. Wobbling is fine. Come out of it, get back in it. We're here on majorette on the left side. Arms are reaching tall. And come back out of it. Let's shake it off, wash it away. On an inhale, arms go back up overhead. Take a back bend and hinge all the way forward. And come to the back on your mat. And let's take a bridge pose. So soles of the feet are flat on your mat. Knees are bent towards the sky. And here in this pose, we'll come to bridge and we'll just lift the hips here. Shoulder blades should be on the floor. You can stay like this with the arms, palms down on the mat. Or you can start to bring the shoulders in a little bit and clasp the hands under you. And that should let your bridge get a little taller. Take a breath here. If full will is in your practice, You can go ahead and play with full will. Take another couple breaths. If you have the bind under your bridge, untangle the hands, let them come back to your side, and gently lower hips back to the earth. Here you can take legs up straight for the legs against the wall pose, or you can take shoulder stand. And with shoulder stand, start, legs are straight, and start to drop the legs behind you. And hands come to the lower back. And legs are straight in the air for candlestick pose. And the weight here, you don't want it all on your shoulders. The arms should be carrying some of that weight. Make sure to breathe here in candlestick pose. And we can start to lower the way we came in. Lowering the legs back down, toes reaching toward the earth. The knees can fall to either side of the ears. And let the arms go long, palms find the earth, and lower gently vertebrae, down to the earth. Before we find Savasana, take any other movement you might need. Sometimes I find I like to do some more side twists. Maybe you take a happy baby pose, stretching out the hips a little bit more. Maybe you just take the knees into the chest, massage the spine. Whatever you need to do, whatever serves you, before we find our final resting pose. We're back in Savasana. Maybe here in your resting pose, you take bound angle where the soles meet and the knees are out to each side in sort of an angled pose. Maybe as we started, you have one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. In touch with your breath as it starts to slow down. You can stay here for Savasana. Feel free to take legs long, arms to the side. Whatever you find comfortable. Float the eyes closed and take rest. As you start to come back
Maybe move the head from side to side. Find a little movement in the fingers and the toes. You can feel free to stay here in Savasana. But if you're ready, take an easy curl to your favorite side. Take a few breaths here. Maybe let one hand bring you back to seated at the front of the mat. Bring the palms to prayer. Close the eyes. Take some deep breaths here. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The light in me bows to the light in you.
Namaste.